Hey, what's up guys? Thanks so much for stopping back by the YouTube channel. Today I'm joined again by Mirabai Chanu, who is directly off of her amazing performance at the Asian Championship Games, where she set a brand new world record with an amazing 119 kilo clean and jerk. Mira and I worked together in the fall leading up to that performance on a number of different issues with back pain and things like that you can see in previous videos. And she is now back in St. Louis training with me for the next month before then heading off to Tokyo for the Olympics. Currently, we're working through a couple different issues in her shoulder, which you guys will be able to see today, our warm-ups, as she goes through just a normal training session. So I'm gonna bring you through her warm-ups, give you a little behind the scenes of her training session, and we'll be able to document a little bit more as she leads up to her leaving off for the Olympics. So let's get into it. So one of the first things, let's start off with the ball, okay? And you can just go right here on the ground. One of the first things that we were working on was her shoulder blade movement. Now, one of the videos that I'm gonna show you guys right here, when I was assessing her, one of her shoulder blades was not upwardly rotating nearly as much as the other side. Rather than sitting in a neutral posture with a few degrees of upward rotation like the green line shows, she was starting with a significant amount of downward rotation as the black line shows. When the arm moves then out to the side, the shoulder blade retracts and downwardly rotates even more before then starting the necessary upward rotation to move the arm into a stable position overhead. This led to a pinching pain in the back of her shoulder. And what that was doing was when she was in a snatch receiving position and going from that internally rotated into externally rotated position, it was leaving her shoulder in a vulnerable position. So that shoulder blade was ducking in and then rotating up. So almost like an analogy is to think about if you have two people that are in a race, a foot race, 100-meter dash, one shoulder blade was starting 5 meters behind the line. So it wasn't actually at the starting line with the other shoulder blade. So that's why it was in a poor position to then support the shoulder for moving overhead. So one of the drills that we're starting off with is just some soft tissue mobilization to the rhomboids. So the rhomboids are a group of muscles that are on the inside part of the shoulder blade, and they pull the shoulder blade in towards the middle of the spine, which is the motion of retraction. Now, if the rhomboids are over-dominant compared to the serratus anterior, which helps upwardly rotate the shoulder blade, it can lead to that problem where the shoulder blade starts off too soon in a more retracted position and leaves it unable to fully upwardly rotate. So we're putting this ball just on that rhomboid and then moving the arm over the top, sort of attack and then stretch to get some soft tissue mobilization and then elongate those rhomboids and allow that shoulder blade to rotate upward. So directly we go to a cat breathing exercise. So most of you guys have seen a cat camel before. So she's gonna get into a quadruped position, put her arms up at a 45 degrees, and then she's going to go into that cat position where she's arching her back and really forcing this shoulder blade to come up and around. And then she's gonna take a big deep breath and exhale as she gets into that position, which is gonna help hug that shoulder blade into the rib cage even more. And then relax, and we do 10 deep breaths in this position. So the idea behind this exercise is that after the soft tissue mobilization of those rhomboids, we've helped decrease their tone just a little bit. We're then going to work on promoting better upward rotation of that shoulder blade, which remember the right side was not moving as well. So she comes up, big deep breath, hugs that rib or the shoulder blade to the rib cage and really tries to force that shoulder blade up and out to the side. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is go into a yoga push-up, and the idea behind this also is the same sort of idea of driving that upward rotation. So watch how she's going to do this. She's gonna go down into the push-up, and then as she comes back, she pushes the hips back and forces those arms overhead, again, driving that upward rotation of the shoulder blade. Very good, pushing up this way, couple deep breaths, and then back out. Yeah, let's get a full view of this. And again, as we go down, don't let those shoulder blades pull in too much. And then as she comes back, push, 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 push. And you can see here, we're driving into an elevated position, promoting that upward rotation. This feels okay on the shoulder? Very good. So we're just going to do, yeah, great stretch. We're just gonna do 4 of these today, right now. So it's the combination of all these that really help fix the underlying why behind the shoulder issue. If anyone else out there is having a shoulder issue, there's no one size fits all. So if you see something on social media, it's like shoulder pain, do this exercise. That's like a shotgun approach that may or may not work. You always need to be able to assess the problem first and then prescribe exercises based on the problems you see. For her example, her pain was caused not by a problem necessarily in shoulder stability and strength, but by a problem in dysfunctional scapular movement. And until we actually saw that and then prescribed exercises to fix that, we never would have really seen good progress. And so far she's been in St. Louis for about 2 weeks and we're seeing really good changes. So the next exercise that we're gonna do is more of a strength and stability exercise. This is a kettlebell windmill. So the idea so far is that we have worked on soft tissue mobilization, very good, nice and slow. We've worked on the motion of driving that upward rotation, and now we're gonna put it all together and sort of lock it in with a strength and stability exercise. So sort of covering all of our bases on the shoulder. Now our goal with this is to go super slow, and her goal the whole time is to really drive that arm upwards to promote that upward rotation. Now she's not shrugging upwards. I don't want her to get that upper trap, but she's taking that shoulder blade through a full range of motion and really driving that upward rotation. Very good. Let's do just 5 on this side. Okay, feel okay? Cues with this, she's hinging her hips as she comes back down and then slow back up. So basically this is a part of the Turkish get-up, and the thing I love about the Turkish get-up is that you can also break it down into its individual parts and train them to get a lot of benefit. You don't actually have to do the full get-up if you don't want to. She's gonna be pushing that bell away, so she's not retracting here, but she's still just creating that firm platform and then nice and slow all the way back up. So the arm or the shoulder blade will move down. Very good, to support the shoulder in this abducted position, and then it will rotate back upwards as we go overhead. So when we first started these were much easier on the left side than the right, and she's been progressing very well. We started the first week with just a 15 and then a 20, and then our most recent session of physical therapy, we went up to a 25 pounder. So we're using the Kettlebell Kings 12 kilo bell today. So just a few, we're doing just 1 set of 5 on each side today because we're starting off with power cleans. We're not doing any snatches, so we modify the amount and volume that we're doing based on how much warm up we need to do every day, but still hitting the bases every time. Okay, so let's do shoulder, just moving it in this position, see how it feels, that right shoulder.
Yeah.
Feels good? Feels free. Good. So that was the big test that we would do early on, is that just moving that shoulder felt achy, felt tight, and going through all these 3 instantly felt better, which is going to allow us to be more confident under the barbell. And once you're pain-free, it really allows your performance to then take hold and get some amazing lifts. So that's the upper body warm-up that we're gonna do right now. So I'm gonna let Mira go through her normal lower body warm-up, grab the barbell. She's gonna be doing some power cleans to start off and then some squats. So we're gonna film that and show you guys just a little behind the scenes. And then I'm also going to show you guys a couple warm-ups that we're doing specific for her knee when we get to some jerk dips today, because she was having some knee pain recently. I'm gonna show you sort of what we found and how we're gonna go about fixing that before that. Sound good? All right, let's get to it. All right guys, so now that we are done with some power clean and jerks and then also squats, we are gonna go on to some jerk dip drives. Now, in the past couple weeks, Mira had some knee pain that was very bad in the dip. So she wasn't having pain with squats, wasn't having pain with cleans or snatches, but only when loading that knee excessively during the dip portion of a jerk. Now, whenever we're doing a squat, often we start with the hips a little bit, but whenever you're doing the dip, because your chest has to remain so vertical, the knees do drive forward a little bit early. So this is actually what we found during our evaluation. In a recent training session, Mirabai complained of a sharp right knee pain rated up to 7 out of 10 in the dip phase of her jerk. During our assessment of hip mobility with the Faber test, you can see here her right leg was unable to fall out as far as her left. We started off with the kettlebell weight shift exercise, cueing her to open up her hip by squeezing her right glute before shifting towards the upside foot. This brought out a good stretch in her right side groin. After performing 5 reps, we then retested, and as you can see, she had improved mobility compared to the pre-test. I also assessed her quad stiffness. You could see here I could easily pull her left heel to her butt, whereas when doing the same with her right leg, she couldn't move nearly as far and felt restricted in the front side of her thigh. For this, I recommended the couch stretch I first learned from Dr. Kelly Starrett. We held for 15 seconds and only did 4 reps before then getting back under the barbell. Listen in to how she felt.
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. So in this position, back leg turned under, front foot out to the side. What she's going to do is open her pelvis, squeeze her glute, and then shift to the side. Very good. Good stretch in the groin. Good, and we hold this stretch for about 5 seconds and then shift back. And we're doing just 5 reps today. Very important to note that the knee needs to be opened up. Now, for some people out there, if this is too tough of a position for the kettlebell weight shift, you can put the foot up a little bit higher, more of an angle. But for her hips, she's able to open up this much. And the big thing we saw was just a little bit of an asymmetry side to side. So opening the hips like this, bringing the knee over, and really making sure that we can open that pelvis up and create some more symmetry. And it's very important to make sure that the pelvis is forward with this. You don't want to hinge backwards as you go down into the shift. That'll take the pressure off. Now, for some people, they'll just be very stiff in the front and won't be able to go very far. Is this 5? Okay. And then we'll do the couch stretch next. Perfect. Good stretch? Okay, so 15 seconds. Let's do 3 total. I'll stand back here so it doesn't move on you. So again, with this, what we're doing is just a short stretch for the quads to be able to improve their flexibility just slightly. We don't want to go for a very long duration stretch to take away any potential power that those muscles are going to be able to put into the next movement. So short duration, just 3 sets of 15 seconds. So now that we got done with our mobility work, we're gonna get under the bar and do some dip drives for the jerk, and I think we'll be wrapping up our session today after that. All right, guys, that's it for today's training session with Mirabai. Obviously, you were able to see a number of different lifts that she does in her own training and preparation for the Olympic Games that she's gonna be leaving for in a couple weeks. So we'll do another one of these YouTube videos to sort of lead up to her leaving St. Louis and going to Tokyo. So until then, guys, make sure to go over to her Instagram and on Facebook and give her a follow. And until then, happy squatting. Cool.
They say that energy flows where attention goes, so I pay no mind. Why waste my time with all these negative cats scratching? So caught up in their egos, these people have lost.